G'day to all you superstars in YouTube land, and thank you for joining me for the next instalment of the Clubbies Legend series. I'm Brett Lewis. You might remember me from such episodes as episode 7, to share the interviewing load and to continue to speak to as many past and present legends as possible. The great man, Anthony Lawrence, has asked me to lend a hand. Today, we talk to a modern day Two Blues legend. He's a 127 game player and coach who has already featured heavily in the storytelling of previous episodes. His panache for the long bomb, legendary, as is his chiseled body and movie star good looks. So maybe don't let your missus watch this one. He's a 2-time third runner-up in the BNF, a bridesmaid, you be the judge. But trust me, you'll never hear a bad word uttered about this man. He's a genuine gentleman and a legend of a bloke. Well, we all know there's one rule here. So grab a beer, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's chat with my great mate, Michael Slaven. Slavo, welcome.
Brad, thanks for having me, mate. Thanks for the introduction. That was it was the bridesmaid's bridesmaid.
I know. I was thinking a third runner-up best and fairest is not really a bridesmaid. It's the one who sits a couple down from I guess the matron of honour, isn't it? Generally,
that's it. And at the Clubbies, it's just enough to miss out on the trophy as well. So it's a pretty bare cabinet.
Oh, I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. So, thank you for joining us, mate. It's really exciting to get you on. As you know, you and I are good mates, and for everyone else, and we've played a lot of years together down there. So I'd love to hear your introduction of how you got down to the footy club. I believe it was the same year. So talk away.
That's right. A great year, actually, 2007. Both means a lot to us. I'm appreciating your little backdrop there, which I'm sure everyone will. So I moved to Melbourne with an ex at the time and went to a party. I wasn't that keen on playing footy, but I met Luke Farrell at a party and he told me about this team that's training sort of optional and told me about all the things that sort of go on there, and it's a relaxed sort of footy and no recovery the next day, and you do things at your own pace, and it seemed too good to be true. And then at the same time, Pete Derbyshire heard about this same sort of mythical team, and lo and behold, it's the exact same team, and we've been here ever since. So walked in the door, and I think Deeks was probably the first person up to me. So I met Deeks, and that's obviously a good introduction. And then from there, Gearsy and Butsy and Guru, and I met your good self, mate, and we had a great year.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we've got a pretty open way of sort of going around if we want to, and if there's anything you want to sort of chat about, please we can get into that. But I'd like to sort of go into start. I just want to sort of set the tone. Now, I have reached out for, so this could easily be a roast, but it's not going to be a roast by any stretch. But one of the things that came back was there's a bit of chameleon about yourself, Michael. I've heard there's Mickey from St Kilda, Slavo from Geelong, Mike from London, Michael from Paran. So can you give us some background into these different, I guess, the chameleon that is Michael Slaven?
No, for me, it's pretty black and white. I'm just little Mickey from Herne Hill in Geelong. There's nothing. There's certainly nothing fancy. There's nothing fancy about that.
Excellent.
And obviously, this sort of been obviously Pete Derbyshire getting a little bit carried away with these sort of chameleon things. He has a bit of fun with that, so very good.
Oh, there's a couple of boys. As I said, it could easily be a race, but let's get into. I guess I'd like to hear some of your favourite memories on the field, because obviously you're a coach too. So we'll come back to those. I'm sure there'll be a little bit to share there, but I'd love to hear something about the on-field. Why Clubbies?
Yeah. Well, I guess early days, you come down to this club and it's sort of great guys. It's really relaxed, and you sort of, how good is this? And first couple of games, I think we're playing at Zabs.
Yep.
And there was a big long bomb out onto the wing, and it was just me and Guru out on the wing by ourselves, and I was sitting under the ball, and Guru's seen me there. He's called me back into the ball, which, as you do to a good teammate, you call them back, and he's going back Slavo, and call me back into it nicely, and I just heard him go perfect, and fair enough. And all of a sudden, Guru's white boots were on my shoulder, and he took the greatest hanger in Two Blues history on his teammate, and brought the crowd down. So just me and Guru out in the wing, and he took an absolute screamer on me in my second game at the Two Blues. So that was my little introduction. It was a great sort of set the tone for the rest. That was Guru to a T, obviously.
Absolutely.
And and then just those early memories. Did you play in the game where Butsy gave the speech 3/4 time with the blue food diet?
Yes.
You did? So stuff like that. So someone handed in the blue food dye, made sure he had a big swig, and then said, "Away you go, Butsy, here's the 3/4 time speech." And everyone was just on the ground laughing, and Butsy could not figure out why everyone was laughing so hard. And just thought, oh, how good is he? So obviously it's unlike any other football club you'll come across. And just for those sorts of things, and all the time, you can get away with anything at the club. And then sort of modern day times, real highlights was of playing under you, Brett. Obviously, your pre-game speech in that final, that prelim final that's already been mentioned, that was a real highlight. What's that? Yeah. That was.
I go through.
Yeah, exactly. But we had some fantastic wins under you playing footy, and the guys we were playing with there at that time, sort of Killer and all those guys. We had some fantastic years under you. I could go on and on, but look, further memories. Was probably the first time we knocked off Hawthorn. I think Johnny spoke about it before. And some days you just turn up, and you can tell the guys are switched on. So typical Clubbies, sort of, you're coaching a Clubbies team the night before, 5 people pull out. You wake up in the morning, you've got 17 players, you're playing the undefeated team on top of the ladder. And you pull a side together with one on the bench somehow. You turn up, and you know the feeling when you just think that we're actually on today. And then threw everything at them, and knocked off the top of the ladder team at eventual premier, and that was probably the highlight of that sort of period, knocking off them, and really sort of giving it to them for the whole game. I think Johnny Corrigan may have king hit someone that game, allegedly, our little buddy. So that was entertaining, that was another real highlight for me.
Nice, mate. Now, I think there's been a bit of a trend going on. So, for the people out there that don't know you, I mean, how would you describe yourself in modern day football terms with the modern day footballer? Who would you sort of, I guess, line yourself up against, thinking that that guy out there looks a lot like me?
Looks a lot like me?
No. There's no one going to be that good looking. So we'll just go with who looks like you as a player.
Right. I had to think about this, and I couldn't think of anyone who's currently playing, because they can generally all kick these days. So I would have gone. There was a player who played for Hawthorn and who could run a lot, but couldn't kick very well. So he ran around like a headless chook. And when he got the ball, he butchered it, and that was Tim Clark. And I think you went his brother David, so it's a nice little tie in there.
Yeah. So, I guess that's why we're mates, aren't we? I guess.
Well, it's just exactly right, mate. It's just brothers and everything's nice and easy. But if anyone, I would have gone Tim Clark. I wouldn't compare myself to any bloke who played AFL, but if I had to at a stretch, that'd be it.
Yeah, I reckon you're going a bit hard on yourself. I'd put you as a amateur's Joel Selwood, because you're always putting your head over the ball, going hard at it. It might be some deficiencies floating around elsewhere. Which, look, this whole thing is legendary. This 20-meter kicking, like,
Yes.
Do you have any memories of where this started from or how it started at all?
Yeah. Look, I think maybe when I was I started playing footy when I was 10, and I think I could kick 30. I could kick it 30 metres back then, and just haven't bothered to sort of go any further ever since. That was it. So it's always been 30 metres.
Sorry, were
What's
you
that?
People were massive early and then never grew after sort of grade 5? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Believe it or not, I was a ruckman. Exactly right. So when I first came into Bell Park under 10s, I was rucking. I was actually rucking and tapping it down to Jimmy Bartel. And look how that went.
There you go.
Yes,
obviously, he learned how to row very well, that boy. So I mean, I think there's something in that for everyone, really.
Yeah. Well, I guess I never really had to kick, so I just had to get it to him.
I love it.
So just give it to him, and away we go, and there's success.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but on that, I think, did Faz bring this up? Because there was a game where I was outside 50 at, where was it? Where do we play our finals? At Baffa Park. Yeah, that's right. So I took a mark on the 50 and Faz yelled out $100 if you can kick it. And when I heard that, it was just every little inch of power I could get, and it just dribbled over, and I kicked the goal from 50 at Elstonwick Park just, and Faz had to pay up the 100 when we were going out that night. So it was very good. It was the furthest I've ever kicked in my life, but it was once and once only.
Well done. I mean, we'll hopefully get Faz on this at some stage, and we'll get him to verify that story. But
don't delve too deep.
Faz.
What's that?
He'll always pay his bets.
Yeah, just don't ask him which ground it was at Baffa Park. It may have been the smaller one.
Excellent. Right, Matt. Now, so 127 games. I think was it 127 you played? I believe so. Now, 27 goals, mate. So where were you sort of lining up for most of your football? Where were you playing? And I guess where was your favourite position? Where did you enjoy playing most? So I'm assuming it wasn't with 27 goals.
Yeah, okay. I had no idea on that, but
Killer's
yeah,
Killer
does. Yeah, of course he does. Yeah. I've never enjoyed being forward. I've always liked watching the ball sort of come at me from the back line. I've always enjoyed playing half back. That's been my favourite position. If I can get there, but shortage of numbers and everything like that, sometimes you have to push into the midfield a little bit, sort of play where needed. But half-back's always been my favourite little spot. If I'm man up and stop them from getting a kick and try and get the old kick myself, that'd be it. And depending on who you're playing with back there as well. So over my time, I played with Siebes in the back line and started with Borby and finish up with Benny and it's always obviously Jerry, all those guys. I know I'm going to be missing someone, no doubt. I've always loved playing in the back line when I can.
No, good stuff, mate. Now, like any long-serving servant of the club does, there's committee positions and there's coaching positions. So you were a coach for how long? Can you talk us through your coaching and how that sort of came about?
How it came about. Well, I think I was your pick, so I was going to blame that on you.
Yeah.
I did 2 years of coach, 2015, 2016. First year, I think, obviously got handed over from you. You butted me up nicely for about 2 years. Told me about how much help you get when you're going to be coach and how easy it is. Everyone really steps up around you, and I just fell for the hook, line, and sinker and went in and did it. Ended up being, obviously, like you said, ended up being committee, coach, strapper, runner, everything all in one. Team manager. So that was a ball, but that was 2015, 2016. 2015, I decided to have my wedding that year and took half the team over for about a month over to Bali. And I think we missed out on, might have missed out on percentage on the finals. So we can blame that one, and I'll cop the blame for that one. So remember that wedding, Brett? That's when you got the whole team to sing the Two Blues theme song at my wedding. My father-in-law did a nice little rendition of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Everyone was singing along, having a great time. And Brett Lewis's little comeback was to...
it's not about me, Michael. This is about you. This is about you.
Reluctantly, no. It has to be told.
You want to start opening up Pandora's box, then We can definitely wander down that. I said right at the start this could easily be a roast, so let's stay on track.
It was a highlight. It was magnificent. Looking back on it now, it's a highlight. But I thought after hearing about 10 no's, it's not a good idea. You might have pulled the pin, but not to be. And I think we had a lot of Two Blues singing the theme song on a cliff top in Bali on sunset at my wedding. So it was that was magnificent. But back on the coaching. Yeah, so I think 2015 just missed out on finals, then fell in a heap in 2016. I think that was a bit of a low point for us. But saying that, on the back end of that year, we were struggling to get players. This is just how the Two Blues works. And we got a phone call off two blokes who wanted to play, and that was Benny and Judder. So the back end of that year, Benny and Judder come along, and their mates come along, and we finished really well and just got a real influx of not really good guys. And they brought their mates along. And that sort of turned the club around the back end of 2016. So we could hand it over to Goiney, and we had some nice new players, really good guys, which is how the club runs. So the sort of lesson was dark times mid 2016. The club just seems to roll on and turn around when you least expect it.
Yes, absolutely. Now, so I guess there's some highlights. What did you get out of coaching? What did you? We all know what we get out as a player, but what did you get out of coaching? Is there anything obviously you know how hard it is to do it, but did you get much out of it?
Yeah. Absolutely, from life. Yeah, I learned so much out of it. Obviously, the man management side of it is magnificent. And you know who you can rely on, who you can't rely on. I think you can sort of read people a little bit better after it, when they're going to come through on certain things and when they're not. Just gritting your teeth and getting things done, basically. So you're the person who it revolves around. In the end, it always ends up okay, no matter how annoyed you get. It always ends up okay. We always had a ball. Remember some of those really dark times on Friday nights, Saturday mornings. You're like, what am I doing this for? Come Saturday afternoon, the guys are putting in a great effort. You're going, that's why I do it, because it's just, you have it up. Yeah, when you get out there, it's really rewarding when you pull something together, something really special. And sometimes some of those really dark mornings turn into the biggest biggest accomplishments, I think, and the funnest time I've had. And the most rewarding beers afterwards, I think, after the game, when you pulled something out of the hat, or even a solid effort out of the hat sometimes. But it's funny. You can you talk to you sort of shake your head with the coaches now. We all know what we've been through doing it, the Friday night calls, but they're really rewarding. I wouldn't change a thing.
Excellent. No, really well said, mate. I think you summed it up beautifully. Now we've had a few, I guess. Well, let's roll into the social side of the scene of the clubbies now.
Yeah.
I have, there's been a few nights in Crispy's shed that sort of mind. Is there any sort of arm wrestling sort of things that might have happened in this? And I'm sure that we can get a little meme put in on this. But
right.
I mean, you brought up Dirks before. Talk us through, because I mean, without the context, it's pretty. Yeah. This clip that we will show could be.
Oh, no.
Talk us through what happened that night, please.
Mate, I do not remember. I remember we may have. I can't believe this, because this popped up the other day and now I know why. So, mate, I don't remember what it was for. It might have been just we might have been playing in the area and Crispy had a great backyard. I think early on we may have disliked. Remember Adrian?
Yes. Dakuna.
Yeah, so that's right.
Dakuna Matana. Is in WA.
Mate, all I remember that night is I didn't like his shirt. It ended up on the fire. After that, I think he might have got a hold of it.
You might have been a bully.
Who's that?
I don't know.
No.
No one
No,
ever.
it was. But honestly, after that, I think you got a hold of me, Brett. I don't remember anything else of the night.
No,
I
right.
can't believe that clip's. I can't believe that clip's going to see the light of day.
We won't show it in its entirety. Just to set the scene, there was an arm wrestle that happened over Crispy's bar. There was a lot of male nudity. It was quite a homoerotic sort of scene was set, and Daryl was sort of popping his head in and out, and there was a lot of testosterone going on in there as well with the arm wrestling. But we'll see if we can sort of add something in a little bit later on. Footy
That's horrifying.
Footy trips, Michael. Footy trips.
Yeah.
We both enjoyed to get out, and after a long season, I guess the whole thing is you'd even keep signing on for years on just to keep going on the footy trip. I think we're both cut very similar cloth in that seat. Have you got any memories? Obviously, what goes on the trip stays on the trip, as we're all very aware. Have you got some memories of the footy trip you'd like to share with the listeners?
That I can share. I remember one of our first trips was one of the first times I played with Nick Goyne that first year. And I was rooming with Derbs, and Derbs has gone, Gorney puts a bit of makeup on his cheeks, and I refused to believe it. So he's gone, no, I'll show you. So we went into his room, and we searched through his bag everywhere, could not find this makeup. And Derbs has gone, I'm telling you, he wears makeup. We were up under the bed, everywhere, turned the room upside down. He goes, I know it's here. So at that same time, we both looked up above the bed. There's a manhole above his bed on the bunk in the room. Derbs has put his hand in, bang, plucked it out. So he had the makeup on footy trip to hide his red cheeks.
Red cheeks now laughing so much. That's hilarious.
That's probably the hardest I've laughed on footy trip, because we could barely get down to the bowling club to show everyone.
Yeah. Right. I guess I'm jumping around from the usual sort of format that we use, but I'd like to injuries. Like Rhino before me and myself. Now you've also spent a bit of time in the casualty ward. Give us your rap sheet. What's happened to the body?
It's pretty. Look, I'll be honest. It's nothing like yours.
This is about you. Don't go. Come on.
I turned purple listening to yours. I guess I've had an ankle. I broke an ankle, and I had an ankle reconstruction from that. So that may have been one of the worst ones. I did. I've broken fingers, 3 or 4 fingers from that. I've broken a number of ribs a couple of years ago.
I remember that.
Little hospital ball from Auto.
Yeah, I remember that. I actually remember that.
He's the only bloke you'll be able to get away with that, because we love him that much. So, so that was a broken ribs and ruptured kidneys from that one. So that was a really messy one. Last game I played, I fractured my eye socket and my cheekbone.
Just stop there. So we've got to the last game, right? So let's just wind it back just a little bit. Yep. Talk us through that whole last game. What happened? You've sort of jumped in really quickly. So you had retired. Is that correct?
Unofficially, yeah, I had retired.
And where you were residing in Geelong then, or Melbourne?
No, I was in Geelong.
Right, so talk us through this last game and your lovely wife, Hales. And I guess this whole discussion. Let's step into this story for a little bit. I think it's a good story to share.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, she's put up with a lot over the years, so a lot of injuries. I've spent a lot of time. I think I was in hospital when we moved into our first house together. So she had to do all that by herself, thanks to the Two Blues. And she spent a lot of time in hospital with me post Two Blues games. And I convinced her that I retired mid last year and I was done. I think after maybe I got hit in the head and concussed early in the year. I said, that's it. And then I convinced her that I'd have one last game of the year. We'd go up, we'd see our friends, but before that, I'd have a little farewell game with the Two Blues, and I'd take her out. We'd get to spend the night at a hotel together, catch up with our friends. Really, really sold it nicely. And she goes, "Yep, no worries. You just, as long as you're playing the forward line and you don't get hurt, everything will be okay. So just don't get hurt." I said, no worries. So I was really excited about this game. Little farewell. I think it was an unofficial farewell. I didn't ever announce it to anyone. But went with Faz to the footy, and to be honest, it might have been one of the better games I've played. I think I kicked 3.
Oh, did
Yeah, so I think that's the only time it ever happened in my career. And then, as it happens in the Two Blues, you get a little bit tempted and go into the midfield. So I had 3 up to in the third quarter, and then copped a little hospital ball off Scotty. Went up to mark the ball, copped the back of a bloke's head, and my face was caved in. So my whole cheekbone was completely compressed, and ran over to Kat, and she tried to pull it back in, but no luck. So went to the hospital. And it turns out I had a couple of fractures through my cheekbone and my eye socket, and that is career done. So I thought at the time that it was just a dislocated jaw. So I didn't tell Hayley. So I went to the hospital. The plan was go to the hospital, just get him to click my jaw back in, and I'll go to the pub. So when I went into the MRI and found out it was fractured in a few spots, and I'd have to go in to get an operation, I had to break it to Hayley that our wonderful night out in Melbourne was all over.
Oh, mate, that's an amazing story. See, what happened with you? You actually went to the hospital before you went to the pub. I got it the wrong way around. I actually went to the pub first. So
you did too.
You're a smart man, Michael. You're a smart man. That's probably the best way to do it for everyone listening out there is go to the hospital first. Don't find out later that you could have died if you actually. Yeah. Anyway, we'll keep moving on.
You're still married, Brett. You've clung on.
What's that? Sorry.
Still married, mate. You've done well. You've clung on.
Yes. Okay. So I want to throw a couple of names at you, mate.
Yep.
Johnny Corrigan. So whatever comes into mind. Story.
That guy needs a statue. So I think he actually. I also think he comes across a lot better in Zoom interviews than he does in person. So he did. He had a really good interview. He did well.
He did really well, didn't he? He was brilliant.
Yeah, I do like Johnny.
Okay. Jason Storer.
So he's the epitome of the club for me. So the number one guy I've played with, and not only for his football skills, but he's just a people's person. He's a connector of people. So he goes down there, he talks to everyone, and makes you feel at home. So absolutely love Jason Storer, and it's a shame he never got to coach. He was smart enough not to coach.
Sorry, I actually hadn't thought about that. He has definitely slipped under the radar a little bit, hasn't
he? That's no accident. So he dodged that bullet.
I don't think you're far wrong either, mate. I'll throw one out to Crispin Myers.
Crispin Myers, where do you begin? So, the guy has a million stories, but he's one of my best mates. And what do you say about Crispin? But you're probably the most entertaining person I know. I think I've never ever had a dull moment with him.
And I'm going to throw one more at you. I know there's only 3, but Ben, modern day player Benny.
Oh yeah, Benny. Well, he's the future of the club, and he might not have the best chat when he turns up. So I think every time I've seen him, I might have played probably 40 games with me, and I reckon 38 of the games, he's just turned up and said, "Geez, it's a big ground, eh?" Every time. But he's an absolute ripper, and we're in good hands as long as he stays around.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, the thing I'd like to, I'm sort of, as I said, throwing it around a little bit, but who are some of the better players, are more interesting? We go to the better players, we know it's generally going to be sort of, so who are your better players? Then I'd like to hear about a few of the more interesting cats that might have been roaming the ovals.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If I was going to, the best player, if I was going to pick a player to win a game, it'd be Craig Berger. So with the debate between those two, I sort of had a different take on it. If I was going to choose them for one game, I'd go Craig Berger. If I was going to have a play for a season, I'd go Jason Storer. I think he's just a connector of people. I think it would have been good to have him for a season and a coach, or just the way people get around him, the way he brings people together. It's something special. But on that, so I'd have Killer in the same echelon as well, because he just did everything. He tackled and pressured and had skills, could mark, and just did everything. I had Killer right up there. And you talk to opposition teams, and they had him on the same plateau as well. So they had to try and shut down Killer. So he was right up there. Faz is one of my favourite players to play with, if not only because you always knew he was in the side, because when there was a pack, you just hear a young bloke go, "Hah!" And we all knew what that'd be. There'd be a little bit of a scuffle. We'd have to defend Faz, get him out of there, and the intensity of the game would go up for the next 20 minutes. And then from there, obviously, Nick Goyne's been fantastic, a great little pickup, and just keeps on getting better and better. Does it all. Be good if you could mark, but not to be. Yes. But he's an absolute ripper. Very, very good player. And then Mordo, hang on, we're still there.
Yep,
Mordo is another one he just loved playing with, and a really good player. Another guy just just gets better with age. Again, like everyone says the same thing about him. Ticks all the boxes, good guy, and turns out a really good footballer at the age of 64.
Were you playing when he broke his ankle?
What's that?
Were you playing when he broke his ankle?
Yeah, I was playing that game.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the most horrific injuries I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean,
yeah.
What were your thoughts? I still remember the ambulance guy trying to pull his boot off while the laces were tied, and it was like pulling the whole skin was pulling. Like, it was one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. Quickly, a little side interlude. What were your memories of that injury? Because I wanted to touch on it because it's the worst. I know I've got a it's the worst injury I've ever seen.
My memory of it's more funny, because I remember him getting put in the ambulance on the whistle going, "We hate these cunts." Sorry for the language. This is like a Johnny Cunningham episode.
Current. We hate southwesterly currents flowing.
Sorry. Yeah. That was. We have to get the boys to beat that one out. But very high on the whistle. Getting that one out was. But obviously, you see that and you think that it's obviously career done. Who would come back from that? Only Mordo could come back from that. It was magnificent to see him run around the next year. It's just inspiring. Better players. Yeah, Goyne, Faz, Killer. Siebes was fantastic, and Jerry. Like, how good was Siebes in the back line?
It was crazy.
And then, like, you come into the modern day, like, Judder's turned into a really good player for us, a rugby player. And Benny down in the back line's turned into Borby. Like, it's been fantastic to have these really good guys coming around. I really liked AJ, the modern AJ.
Oh, not the shirt burning AJ.
Yeah, that's the one. Yes, that's it. So he's one of my favourite players. We're always good for a couple and entertaining. Early on, like, I played with Butsy and Gearsy, and those guys, Fat Boy, and Guru. They were all really good players, really good guys. and Cougs. You have to put Cougs right up there as well, don't you? He was an absolute gun, and you just walk taller being around him.
Yeah, absolutely. I still remember just quickly on Mordo's about the green whistle, where you remember him saying, we hate these so-and-so from the Southwest League. But I still remember him going, Louis, you got to try this. This is awesome. This is awesome. Look, no, why would I love it? Why would I love it? Yeah. Anyway, it's like everyone's looking at me. I don't know why I love it. But anyway.
That would have been the first time you knocked it back, Brett.
I never have. I never have, Michael. Excuse me. Right. So I'd really like to get to the depths of what the club means to you. The Clubbies Two Blue. What's the essence of the club? What is it? Why has it got this magic? In your own words, why is this club? It is a special club, right? So we've everyone going through that. Everyone thinks their footy club special, but I think from listening to the Vana episode last, our founder, the way it's been set up, it's brilliant. So for you, what does it mean to you?
For me, it's a massive impact on my life. So I got introduced to guys like your good self who had. Well, that's one example. I met you. You berated me for 2 years to go overseas and party and have a good time, and I did it, and it's the best thing I've ever done. So you get introduced into this circle of worldly people. It just opens your eyes up to these things, and you really really sort of grow as a person, I think. But then the club itself is, for me, the biggest thing is there's no clicks. So you can come in and have 23 conversations in a day, and there's not people sitting in a corner who you don't talk to, because everyone talks to everyone. You never feel, no one feels out of place, or they shouldn't feel out of place when they come down. It's just the most comfortable place to be, and there's nothing else like it. The balance is just right between it's a sport, it's a competitive sport, but there's the social aspects, maybe perhaps the biggest bit, and the big emphasis on the social and having a good time. That's the priority. That's what we're all here for, to make friends and have a laugh. And they just nailed it when they started the club. They really struck a chord. They did well.
Absolutely. Cheers to that. Okay. All right. Well, we're sort of coming towards the end of this now. So, I mean, just before I come to the last question to you, is there anything else you would like to add in, or I guess, I mean, you probably already, you whack Gordy a couple of good times. Anyone else you want to whack on the way through, or knowing that they may come up later, or is there any other stories you want to share with us, mate?
Oh God. No, there's no. Did I whack Gordy?
Oh, I did once or twice. Don't worry, he got you as well. It's a tit for tat. I like it. That? He got you as well.
I didn't.
I'm just joking. There's no other stories. No, so I guess.
No, there's no reason to whack anyone.
Okay. All right. So 127 games as a player. 2 years as a coach. 27 goals, all those sort of things. So you are coming from obviously a very solid foundation to be giving the new brethren of Two Blues rolling through the doors some advice, and I guess talking to Jimmy and the boys and coming through, and obviously what would be some words of wisdom from you, Slavo, just to the boys now?
For me, I think it might seem sometimes when it's hard to get players there, it might seem that the club is going nowhere. But for the last 30 years, it's just good guys. It's just the whole place seems to attract good guys. It rejuvenates, and you just get these influxes coming in. So just keep it going, because whatever you have to do, keep it going. It means so much to so many people. And I think you realise that when you're a coach, how much it means to people. to people in their Saturdays and the way it affects them and sets up their week. They've got something to look forward to at the end of the week. So it's so important that you have a team like this to keep going, because it makes 25 people happy on a weekend, and it makes their weekends, and it makes everyone's lives better. So it's really important that this team has to keep going. And it might seem hard sometimes to keep it going, but if you just keep plugging away, good people turn up, good people help. They stick their hands up. So just keep on doing it.
Fantastic. Well, Slavo, mate, it has been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. Cat's on tomorrow, so we might have to hook up for a beer before that game. But, mate, what I'd like to do is really thank you for your time today, and I'm sure everyone will have a great time. It was a cracker of an interview, so I'm sure I stuffed it up a shitload, so apologies for all that. But, mate, great stuff.
Anything else, we had fun, Brett. So
yeah, we did have fun. So apologies to everyone else for our little in jokes and chuckling. So, so thanks, Michael. So that was awesome. Cheers, mate.
Mate, thank you. Good work. Thanks, buddy.
So that was Michael Slaven. Thanks, Michael, for his time today. You know, an ex-player, coach, and committeeman. Great example of what the club's all about. So hopefully you enjoyed that episode. Stay tuned, because coming forward, there's a couple of real big legends coming up after this one. So stay true, enjoy the series, and hopefully we have some footy back soon. Hooroo.